This man had the nerve to pawn shop with a pair of 19th century looking handcuffs and asked to sell at a high price. Rick was amused. Are these handcuffs or gloves? He asked the customer what they were. Customer Ellie said he often traveled to the yard sale. He bought it in small auction a few days ago which cost 70 pounds. But exactly what it was Ellie wasn't sure. He surmised it was handcuffs, expected to be 200 or 300 years old. Today Ellie came to pawn shop just to find out what it was and how much it could fetch. After listening to Ellie's introduction, Rick didn't hear a single bit of useful information. He was not sure what it was, but only found that there was a series of neatly engraved codes on it. So he surmised that it was a product of the last century. But this kind of product in medieval Europe would have. Rick suspected that it was a replica, and immediately showed that he did not quite want to acquire it. Hearing that Rick didn't want to acquire it made Ellie lost. So he pushed harder, hoping that Rick could find an expert. Then he asked Rick if he wanted to try it on. The customer's enthusiasm made Rick embarrassed to refuse. Almost couldn't put them on because of his big hands. Putting on the handcuffs, Rick said they were horrible. The whole hand couldn't move. Totally restricted 100%. The most horrible handcuffs he had ever seen. Rick then says to Ellie that he's not sure if it's a replica or not. But because of your enthusiasm, he makes an exception and gets an expert to help check it out. With a whoosh of a flashback, Tom, an antique expert, arrived. After Tom understands their confusion, he says he's familiar with the item and that it's a super rare Mackenzie handcuff. Mackenzie was a sheriff in Kansas in the early 1900s and invented it after a prisoner wearing regular handcuffs grabbed a gun and fired it while the officers weren't looking, causing injuries. So he invented handcuffs that completely restrict hand freedom. Through the code on handcuffs, he learned that they were made in 1925, the same time as Mackenzie's tenure. And with the material and style of handcuffs, Tom said that it was real. But Rick is curious why such a powerful handcuff is not popular. Tom explains that because it completely restricts the movement of the prisoner's hands, coupled with the rule that the handcuffs can't be unlocked, resulting in the prisoner can't go to toilet on their own, and therefore subject to police complaints and rejection. Ellie then asked what it was worth, and Tom, the expert, said it was rare, with only about 50 made, and he gave an auction offer of between 2,600 and 3,000 pounds. This price pleased Ellie that he kept praising Tom. Then, after thanking the expert, Rick asked Ellie to make the first offer, and Ellie said he was grateful to Rick for inviting an expert, so he would only ask for 2,600 pounds. But Rick rejected and immediately offered 1,100 pounds. However, Rick was only willing to increase the price by 100 pounds, and Ellie said he wouldn't be bullied. He would sell if Rick could increase the price a little more. Then Rick said that the maximum price was 1,500 pounds, and he would cancel the deal if there was any more counter offer. And Ellie thought for a few seconds, and then he agreed to the offer. It only cost him 70 pounds anyway.